Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to go over Tekmetric's Parts Purchase Report. This report is extremely powerful because not only does it display all the parts you've purchased, it will also present how much you spent on parts per vendor, will allow you to compare the part price across different vendors, show you your most commonly purchased parts, and you can do your vendor reconciliation to ensure that the paper invoices from vendors match what is in Tekmetric. However, in order to use this report properly, please keep in mind that you have to have a purchase order associated with every part in Tekmetric. Whether it's an inventory item or a part on an RO, you want to make sure you have a purchase order associated with it. If you have a part in inventory or on your RO that does not have a purchase order, then that part will not be generated in this report. To get started about this report, let's start with the filter bar at the very top. You can actually filter this report based on vendor if you want to focus on a specific vendor to see what parts you purchase from them the most and how much even you return from your vendors. You could even filter by part type, so whether you want to show tires or parts. A lot of people like to filter out their tires just to see what they've purchased so far and from who they purchased the most. You could even apply more than one of these filters. So in this case, I can apply the factory motor part vendor, and I only want to focus on parts, not tires, from this vendor. So there's a lot to play with in this report. You can even filter the report based on part status. Has this part been received? Has the order been partially received? Or has the part just been ordered? You can also filter by source. So where did this part come from? Did you order it on an RO? Was it actually an inventory order? Was it an RO order originally, but it's been marked returned? Have you added a return order for it, or was it a core return? Lastly, you could even filter by employee to see what employee purchases the most parts, and maybe even where do they order their parts from the most. Does one employee specifically only buy from Napa, but you want them to buy from AutoZone? I mean, it is a very powerful tool if used properly. And of course, you can actually select the date range on this report to just show you a specific date range, like what was ordered last week or what was ordered year to date and more. Here, similarly, you can group by vendor. So instead of just viewing all your parts in a list, you can actually just list out your vendors. You can instantly see next to each vendor how much you've actually ordered from each, what the quantity was, what your average cost is per vendor. You can sit and compare, wow, Advanced is $20 cheaper than factory motor parts, and more. You can even search by brand to see what brand name do you actually purchase from the most, what is more expensive, what is cheaper. You can also list by invoice number and returns. If you have a paper trail and you're trying to look for it in Tekmetric, you can come and search for it in here. You can also have a list of all your purchase orders, what the quantity was on each order, who the vendor was, what your average cost is, and more. You can also list your ROs to see what parts are associated with these ROs. Please keep in mind this version of the parts purchase will not include any inventory that isn't associated with an RO. Another way you can actually group your parts is based on your employees. If you want to see how much is each of your employee purchasing, like here you can see Clayton has actually purchased 19 quantity, but Sunil is the most expensive. So why is the average cost of Sunil? What brand is he purchasing from? What purchase orders is he associated with? So you can even click into an employee to see what specifically has he ordered. Lastly, you can even group by part number and see what is the most common part number you use. Here you can see filters. This is your most common filter. You have a quantity of 23 and it's relatively cheap, right? So you can sit there and reconcile. And of course, in any of these groups, if you go to vendor or brand or invoice number, you can even click within them. So if I'm curious, oh, what did I order from Worldpac? I have 133 quantity. It's costed me about $2,000 or even $3,000. I could click into Worldpac and see all the parts I've ordered from. What was the source? Oh, I order most of my parts in their inventory from Worldpac. So this report is pretty powerful if used properly. Just keep in mind, you want to make sure the data is actually accurate in this report. You want to make sure you have a purchase order for all your parts, because if half your parts don't have a purchase order, then half your parts aren't going to be in this report. So in order to make sure this report is powerful and beneficial to you, please keep in mind you want to always add an order to your parts. So if you're doing an inventory order, you want to make sure you enter your manual order here in the orders section. And in order to make sure your service writers are adding all the orders on ROs, please be sure to go into your advanced settings and require that there's a purchase order for all your parts. That way, your service writers cannot close out any of their ROs unless there's a purchase order for any part that's stated as needed. If you have any questions on the parts purchase report, please do not hesitate to contact our support by giving us a call or shooting us an email. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and to share it with the rest of your team. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would like to see more helpful videos for auto repair shops. Have a wonderful day.